Have you always dreamed of entertaining on the biggest stage in Memphis? The Claw Crew is looking for members to join their team for the 2025-2026 season. Claw Crew members are hardworking, high-energy entertainers who assist Grizzlies home games by hyping up the crowd and much more. Not only do they support the Grizzlies on home games, but also promote in Memphis and across the Mid-South. Open auditions are Saturday, August 9th at FedEx Forum. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions for more information and to register today.
Shinedown Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum Saturday, August 30th. With special guests Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
So let's start with the Ja 3, the graffiti, New York versus New York.
New York, yep.
That box is so
that box is fresh. I'm actually happy to see a new box. Like, it's time for
box is fresh.
The first and the second one with the same box. I see a
Yeah.
different box now. So
And
that's fresh.
And the graffiti letter A looks cool. Yeah, they look
that's
cool.
Tight. I like that.
The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by OrthoSouth, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
Parrish. I'm speaking from the Built Ford Tough studio, FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. Bennett Doyle right there producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope you know congratulations are in order for Grizz star Ja Morant, who won Dunk of the Year from the NBA yesterday. That was announced yesterday afternoon. His response was sweet, meaningful, I think. We'll talk about it momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. In the next segment, about 20 minutes, Jonah Dylan's going to join me. He covers the Tigers and the Grizzlies for the Commercial Appeal. So I'm going to talk to him about both of those things. Jonah Dylan going to be here. He'll join me in the next segment. When I finish talking to him, we're going to take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we're going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories, among them Deion Sanders. Coach Prime held a press conference yesterday alongside his doctors and disclosed that he had been diagnosed with bladder cancer. That is what had kept him away from Boulder, Colorado for much of the offseason. Scary stuff, but the good news is that he's now apparently cancer-free. We'll talk about that situation. We'll do it in the third segment. Luka Donćić was at Yankee Stadium last night, met with Aaron Judge, and seemed to be in the best shape of his life. Oh, I wonder if anybody could have predicted this. We'll show you the video, the picture, all of it. We'll do it a little later on in the show. Adam Schefter, ESPN NFL Insider, has added some context for why the Raiders released Christian Wilkins last week. It reportedly involves kissing. We'll give you more details on that situation in just a bit. There was a mass shooting inside the building where NFL headquarters are located in Midtown Manhattan. It happened last night. At least 4 people are dead. Sounds like it was just another crazy person with a big weapon. It's a classic American story. We'll update you on that situation. We'll do that a little later on in the show. And rest in peace, Ryne Sandberg, Cubs legend, baseball icon. Everybody around my age grew up with on our televisions. He has died. He was only 65 years old. Sad stuff. Spent a few minutes on him during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll eventually do GP's Carryout. We'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a whole bunch to get to, but I did want to start in the NBA, where the league's official account on X disclosed yesterday the winner of the AT&T Dunk of the Year, and it came at exactly 4:17 p.m. Central. The winner is Grizz star John Morant for a dunk he had last December in a game against Boston. You probably remember it. It was a double clutch baseline dunk that should have taught Derek White not to gamble so much. Either way, it's fun to watch whether you've seen it or not. So whether you remember it or not, let's right now, Kyra, if you got it, let's watch that dunk together.
Steps back, Morant, ball fake. Oh my God! Wow, Morant with a reverse flush. What did we just see, partner?
Big Bet Bennett, up to you. Is that worthy of being called the AT&T Dunk of the Year?
I think so because you don't see it. We know he's one of the best dunkers in the league, so he already
in the
world. He's already going to get the benefit of the doubt, right? So, but I think even more so, it's because you don't see that in a game. You never see a double clutch dunk in a game, right?
You infrequently see things like that, but that's sort of the story with John Morant. We've talked about this before.
Especially when guys are like guarding you. You know what I mean?
You see him do things all the time that you don't see anybody else do.
Right.
I said this about Penny Hardaway in his prime, or at least I've said it in recent years looking back on Penny Hardaway's prime. You go to the YouTube videos. You watch Penny Hardaway's highlights when he was like first team All-NBA with the Orlando Magic. Go watch Penny's highlights. What you'll notice pretty quickly is they don't look like anybody else's highlights.
Right.
Nobody else has highlights like that. And John Morant is the present-day version of that. We can debate who's the face of the league. We can debate the best point guards in the world.
Yeah.
We can debate any number of things you want to debate. I think this is not on the table to be debated. Who is the most exciting? Who is the person who can provide the most exhilarating highlights in the NBA? Still today, it's that guy.
Yeah.
It's the guy who won Dunk of the Year yesterday, the guy who's been going viral for dunks he's doing in gyms in China, the guy who, in that highlight, and I love this, my favorite part outside of the actual dunk, made Pete and Brevin, ooh.
Yeah, I love that too.
Because that has forever.
That always gets me fired up.
Ooh, because that has forever been, I think, ooh. That is a proper reaction. You want to do it? Try one, Bennett.
Ooh, I don't like that.
Ooh,
yeah, I'm
try
uncomfortable.
one, Bennett.
Stop.
If you want to, do it one more time for me.
That made me cringe a little bit.
Ooh, that is forever. That sound. Ooh, that has forever been the proper reaction to seeing something you didn't expect to see. Like when you see something you didn't expect to see, the proper reaction, the most common reaction is ooh, and that doesn't mean like it could. Whether it's somebody you're walking around a corner and you didn't expect them to be there, and they're like boo, ooh would be your reaction. And when you see John Morant, take advantage of Derek White gambling and then double clutch dunk reverse in traffic, well, that's something that's going to surprise you.
Yeah.
You don't expect to see that. So Pete and Brevin, I thought they reacted appropriately.
Yeah.
Upon the announcement yesterday, John Morant, he also reacted on Twitter in his own way. And did you see what John posted on Twitter?
I did, yep.
6:32 p.m. Central Time. Here's what John Morant posted on X. Shout out to y'all, my fans. Love is love. They said I lost y'all, followed by a teary-eyed emoji. What'd you make of that response, Bennett?
I felt teary-eyed emoji.
It made me want to hit him back with a teary-eyed emoji.
I wanted to hit him back with a teary-eyed emoji, too.
But I'm not.
A happy teary-eyed emoji. There's context, yeah.
That's a happy teary-eyed emoji.
Right.
That's like tears of joy, like, oh, man, I'm overwhelmed with joy right now. I'm overwhelmed with emotion right now. Listen, far be it from me as a 48-year-old man to be explaining to everybody what emojis are.
Yeah.
If I'm at a place, correct me.
Yeah.
If I'm at a place, correct me. If I've gotten into waters where it's a little too deep for me to be operating in, please tell me that. But the way I interpret a good teary-eyed emoji is like, I am so overwhelmed with happiness and joy right now, I'm tearing up a little bit. That's the way I interpreted that. Is that a proper interpretation?
I think that's a proper interpretation of the emoji, yes.
He was overwhelmed with the support because you don't just win Dunk of the Year because, so a couple of people in the NBA office decide you win Dunk of the Year. As the NBA makes it crystal clear, boldly, this is voted on by the fans. And John said, man, they've been telling me I lost the fans. That's what they've been telling me. But now look, the fans voted me in this way. Teary-eyed emoji. I wanted to hit him back with a teary-eyed emoji, but I'm not real comfortable doing it.
Nah.
I wanted to hit him back with a teary-eyed emoji, but I'm not comfortable doing it.
I mean, I don't think he ever really lost the fans, but I'm glad that he got that, reassurance there.
Can I be serious for a moment?
Yeah.
I think that, combined with everything we're seeing on this tour right now, can actually lead you, if you're John Morant, to teary-eyed emojis and actually teary-eyed real emotions. Because, yeah, I don't think he ever lost the fans either. Evidence being that everywhere you go, in any building in the NBA, this one or the other ones that host NBA games all over the country, you're going to see John Morant jerseys. I told you, I was in Minneapolis earlier this year, and we happened to just be at the Mall of America spending the day. We had the day to spend, and we said, let's go to the mall. Let's take the kids to the Mall of America. Yeah. They have like an amusement park in there, so we played in that. And then we went shopping a little bit, and we went into one of the sports stores. I don't know if it's called Lids, but it was something like Lids, where they sell a bunch of hats and jerseys and shirts and cards and whatever. And obviously, you walk in there, they're going to have a lot of Anthony Edwards stuff. Again, we're in, the Mall of America, just outside of Minneapolis. So a lot of Anthony Edwards stuff, a lot of Timberwolves stuff, some Twins stuff, some Viking stuff. And then, of course, there's LeBron, and there's Kevin Durant, and there's Steph Curry. But I'm not exaggerating. They had multiple John Morant jerseys in there, John Morant hats in there. They did not have somebody represented from every team in the NBA. You can go look at all your first team NBA, second team All-NBA, third team All-NBA. Not every one of those players were represented in this store, but there were multiple John Morant jerseys in the store. If you wanted a John Morant shirt, that was in the store. If you wanted John Morant shoes, that was in the store. If you wanted John Morant anything, it was in the store. And that speaks to how big of a deal he is with fans, even if, the past few years have been a little bit rocky. But I don't know that he feels that every day, because I asked this from an honest place. I genuinely don't know the answer. When's the last time you saw a video of Ja popping around Memphis, like out in the public? Like, oh, there's Ja at Rendezvous, or there's Ja at Redbirds game, or there's Ja at on Bill Street, or there's Ja like anywhere. Like there's Ja at. I know he's been out. He's not just sitting in his home every day, 24 hours a day. But like, do you see him like feeling that from Memphians all the time? Is it all over the internet all the time? I don't see it. If it's out there, it's not. It doesn't hit me all the time. But what has hit me is him being at Peach Jam and just people clamoring to him. Him being in New York City and people, clamoring to him. Him being in Asia and him causing big scenes, the types of scenes that are usually reserved for like international superstars.
No doubt.
That's what it looks like when Beyonce tries to walk around somewhere. That's what it looks like when Taylor Swift tries to walk around somewhere. Now go look. It's all over your computer. If you want to find it, it's in your phone. Go look at John Morant walking around Asia. It looks like he's an international superstar walking through the streets. And you know why it looks that way? Because that's what he is. But I don't know that he feels it all the time. Because most of us, particularly young people, I think live in our phones more than we live in the real world sometimes. I try to break away from this myself, but I don't know that I'm totally innocent. But it's very easy for people to live in their phones and forget that the real world is very different from your phone. And I'm not sure that many athletes could have experienced this more dramatically, the difference between the two, in the past few years than John Morant. Because in real life, people still love him. Everywhere he goes, you see that.
Yes.
Despite everything he's been through, the ups and downs, the poor decisions in some cases, and the other things that have been, in my opinion, blown out of proportion, despite everything that's come up. Like when my kids want to go to a Grizzlies game, the first thing they ask is, is Ja playing or not? Mm-hmm. When my kids are at a Grizzlies game and they happen to be maybe, walking around the floor during warm-ups, they want to see if I can get a picture with Ja Morant in the background of them. He's still the biggest deal, and it's not close. It's not close. But I don't know if he feels that as much on a day-to-day basis as he sees what's in his phone. And still, you just do an X search on Ja Morant, and yesterday, sure, the dunk of the year is going to pop up a lot, but all sorts of not so nice
You'll
stuff.
See the stuff, yeah.
It still pops up. People still make their jokes. Like Caleb Presley can be doing one of his Sunday conversations with Luka Donćić, and Ja Morant jokes still come up in the context of that. And so if you're constantly holding your phone and you're constantly scrolling like most of us do, and it feels like, whether it's true or not, but I'm certain it feels this way sometimes, like the whole world's just goofing on you and trying to get their jokes off about you, and continue to hold up your worst moments and lowest moments and throw them in your face all the time for chuckles, it can feel like, man, do people still like me the way they used to like me, love me the way they used to love me? Perhaps I'm projecting a little bit here, but I imagine it's very easy to fall into this world where you feel like people are banging on you more than you ever could have anticipated, and it's not a fun way to live. But you know what you can do sometimes, particularly if you're somebody like him? Close the phone. Go outside. Now, it's harder for him to go outside than it is an average person to go outside, but go feel the real world a little bit. And he has spent the past few weeks getting to feel the real world, getting to feel, this is what people actually feel of. This is how people actually feel about you. This is how people actually react when they see you. Forget the memes. Forget the replies. Forget the jokes. Forget everything that every time you open your phone on social media, it hits you right in the face, unless you've got some real good blocks and restrictions on there. Forget all that. That's not the real world. The real world's outside. And when John Morant walks outside and experiences the real world, it is almost without exception really positive stuff. And I think on some level that teary-eyed emoji was him realizing all of that over the past few weeks. Again, I don't want to overstate it, but he's been walking around every day for a while now on this Nike tour and just being immersed in adulation, immersed in a set of circumstances where people are just trying to get close to him, tell him how much they love him, get a picture to him. And when you have been banged on as much as he's been banged on the past few years, I think that can be real helpful as it pertains to trying to reset, recalibrate, where you are in a variety of ways, but especially mentally. I do this in my own life all the time. If I just sit around and look at Facebook and look at social media all the time, it makes me feel like everybody hates each other and that you couldn't possibly even sit down in a restaurant without arguing with the people at the table next to you. And then I close my phone and I go outside and I go to restaurants and airports. And I was just on vacation. We were out of the country. We were surrounded by people from all over the world, different cultures, different races, I'm certain different political views. And it just, there's no issues out there. I'm not pretending the world's perfect, buddy. It's not. If I could change a bunch of the stuff that's going on right now, trust me that I could. But it's just, my point is, broadly speaking, we're a lot nicer to each other, kinder to each other out in the real world than we are in these phones. And if anything comes of this Nike tour that Ja's been on, I think that might be the main thing. Mm-hmm. He's been able to reconnect with people and feel that again in a way that maybe he hasn't felt so regularly over the past couple of years. And if that combined with him realizing that a lot of great dunks in the NBA last season, and the fans could have voted for any of them, but they still voted for him, and they voted for that dunk. If that does actually bring him to like little quiet, happy tears, makes total sense to me. And the fact that he's comfortable showing that publicly, social media, is something I can appreciate. It's all good stuff. This trip, I'm sure it must be exhausting for him on some level. Like, it's private planes, 5-star hotels. I got it. But it can get exhausting traveling around the world and having one public appearance after another. But man, I bet some good stuff's coming from it. I bet he feels better about everything today than he felt, at some of his lower points. And if that is the byproduct of this Nike tour on some level, then that's stuff that can benefit him and then hopefully also benefit the franchise and the city. Jonah Dylan covers the Grizzlies and the Tigers for the Commercial Appeal. I'll talk to him about this and Tiger football. We'll do that next. Gary Parrish Show, presented by OrthoSouth.
There are futures for Aaron Judge possibly hitting 400. Hitting 400 at the All-Star break, plus 600.
Oh, wow.
To have a 400 batting average in the regular season, plus 3,800. To win the Triple Crown is only plus 145.
I don't think he's going to hit 400 for the season.
I don't either. I that would be
ridiculous.
Yes, ridiculous.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Boys' time. I've been ready. What are we waiting for?
You've seen the Grizz line jamming on the court and rocking out on Beale Street, and this is your chance to join the best drum line in the NBA. Grizz line entertains Grizz Nation at home games and events in the Mid-South through their impressive techniques and energetic shows. If you have experience in drumming and marching and love entertaining, Grizz line is the perfect opportunity for you to combine percussion and performance. Open auditions are Saturday, August 9th at FedEx Forum. Sign up today by visiting grizzlies.com/auditions.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item, whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Coach Thorpe, to his credit, also taught me, like, just simplify your game. Like, it doesn't have to be difficult. You don't have to do all the up and under stuff. Like, he always talks about getting to the second box. My biggest thing is just do what I can to make the right play. It doesn't, if it ends up in a shot, it does. If it ends up in a pass to an assist, it does. Shooting 72% is credit to, I guess the work I put in and my coach is helping me.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Parrish Show presented by OrthoSouth. We're inside the Built Ford Tough studio. I'm lucky enough to be joined right now by Jonah Dylan, who of course covers the Grizzlies and the Tigers for the Commercial Appeal. He's on X at the Jonah Dylan. Good to see you, man. Hadn't seen you in a while. How you been?
Yeah, good to see you. I've been busy the past week or so.
Yes, I noticed one byline after another, and I'm gonna talk to you about all of that stuff. But before we talk Tigers, I do want to ask you. Something I was talking about in the open, and that's about Ja Morant reconnecting with fans on this Nike tour and combining that with the fact that fans voted for him to win Dunk of the Year in the NBA yesterday. He seemed to, I don't want to read too much into it, perhaps I am, but on social media, the sentiment was like, this matters to me. And, they've been telling me that I lost the fans, but again, I'm interpreting a little bit here, but seemed to say like maybe I hadn't lost him the way I thought, and he had the teary-eyed emoji. It just seems like this tour and that fan vote has combined to maybe help get him into a place where few NBA players take beatings on social media the way he has in recent years, and the real life experiences seem to be dramatically different than that. You know what I'm saying? Just expand on that if you can.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it feels like a reset maybe a little bit. And I feel like that was definitely needed. And look, every NBA season for every team except for one ends with a loss at some point. And so you've got to reset. But I think the way that not just the end of the season, but the kind of back half of the season for the Grizzlies went, and for Ja last year, and then obviously the Dez trade and all that stuff, it makes sense that like this organization and its star needs to kind of reset. And it feels like that is maybe a good way to do it, to get your head in a better place going into the season, going into a new roster, getting ready for all that stuff. And yeah, I feel like that would be a huge positive, and I think it already is for if you're a Grizzlies fan, just seeing where Ja is mentally as he kind of ramps up for next season.
Has you been surprised at all by the reception he's gotten overseas? I think we all know he resonates on social media, and social media, frankly, is where most people see the NBA. Like my kids know a ton about the NBA. Most of it comes from YouTube, from the iPad. It's not from watching games, and it's not from watching SportsCenter. So we've understood that for a while, but still it's interesting to see. Like he's walking through the streets in Asia, and it looks the way I imagine it would look if Justin Bieber were walking through these streets, or Taylor Swift were walking through these streets, or Beyonce were walking through these streets. Does that surprise you at all? He's registering that way. play.
Yeah, well, I think it's like you said. I mean, I think people, especially if you're not like a diehard NBA fan, you engage with the NBA through that stuff. And if you engage with the NBA through highlights and stuff, you're seeing Ja Morant dunks probably a lot. And that's the thing that you remember. And so then you see someone walking down the street and it's Ja Morant, and it's like, well, that's the guy I saw do that crazy thing, right? Whereas like even other players who are great, you might not engage with them to that extent. You know, you look at stats or whatever, but you're not seeing the highlight reel plays. And that's the thing with Ja. I feel like he's always going to stand out for that reason, because people are always going to know him for those plays and for those types of situations. And so then when you see him on the street, especially in a situation where you're not used to seeing him, right? The idea that he'd be walking down the street in Memphis is different than what he's doing now. And I think it makes sense. That's the reaction that he would get. And like you said, I think it's a positive for him that he's reacted to that and feels like that's important to him. And the fan support is important as he kind of moves forward in his career.
As for the franchise, ESPN yesterday, I believe, posted offseason grades for every franchise, and they gave the Grizzlies a B. And the sentiment was basically you might take a step back in a loaded West with the trade of Desmond Bane, but you were smart to do it to get all of those first-round picks. How would you grade what the Grizzlies have done this offseason?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it has to be incomplete, because the grade ultimately is going to depend on how Cedric Howard turns out and how those draft picks ultimately, whenever they either are used in other trades or when they make those picks. Because in a vacuum, trading Desmond Bane, right, the team was worse. Desmond Bane was good. You lost him. You traded for draft picks, so the point was not to get better immediately. And so it makes sense. Flexibility, which is the word that we heard Zach Kleiman use, I think, a lot, especially right after the draft, makes sense in terms of, okay, you needed to reset things a little bit and reform your core around Ja and Jaren, obviously. But it's going to depend on Cedric Howard. I feel like he moved up in the draft form. That's the guy that obviously, they were clearly very high on and targeted for a while. And so if he ends up kind of hitting the ceiling that they believe he has, then suddenly you're looking at, wow, that offseason before the 2025 season, that was an A offseason. Like that's when it turned around. And so I feel like, I don't know, when we do those grades, trade grades, it's like, call me in 5 years, right? Because that's when you really know. You can look back at a trade that was made a couple years ago and say, definitively, this was good for this team, this was bad for this team. It makes sense. I think there's positives and negatives, and so B feels like fair at this point. But again, like, we got to revisit it, I feel like, in a couple years.
Switching over to the University of Memphis, this is the thing that has kept you most busy over the past week. About an hour after I finished the show 2 Mondays ago and then decided to go on vacation for a week, it was reported that the university had made what is believed to be the biggest financial offer in history to try to join the Big 12. And it was sort of rejected, not out of hand, but pretty close to that, never even reached a vote. At that point, I know a lot of people had jokes like, University of Memphis, $200 million, and you can't even buy your way into a power conference. I get that. If jokes are funny, I'll laugh at them. On the other hand, as an alum, as somebody who works here and was born here, I took it as an incredibly encouraging sign that the university president, the athletic director, were able to rope in all of these different entities and actually have that type of money available. I know it didn't end well or end the way we wanted, but I like people being ambitious and taking big swings, and it felt like the university took a big swing. Maybe it didn't work out, but I like the swing. What did you make of what happened last week?
It's interesting because I was talking to somebody at American Media Days in Charlotte last week, and they were asking me, like, what do people in Memphis think about this situation? How do they feel about the university and what they tried to do? Are they disappointed? Or are they like, I can't believe this happened? Or are they, nobody wants us, kind of down on our luck? And I was like, no, I think that the sentiment is kind of like you just said. Like, people are impressed that they were willing to do that and that they were able to come up with that offer. That's the biggest thing, is like, whether or not they accepted it, you proved that you can mobilize those companies to be able to put together an offer like that, yes, the Big 12 wasn't interested, but that doesn't mean other conferences aren't going to be. And if you look at the way the money kind of broke down, a lot of that money, obviously sponsorship money, we're talking about not exactly like cold hard cash. We're talking about, I'm going to basically be the middleman for a sponsorship deal with a company to this conference. But some of it was, being willing to not take media rights money, that's money that you're losing from your budget, essentially. And then the other part of it is, the implication was Memphis was going to leave, probably try to do this for next year, which means you have to pay probably $25 million in an exit fee. That was something even back in the fall when the Pac-12 stuff was happening. There were questions about, could Memphis mobilize that kind of money in that sort of a time frame? And the fact that they were willing to do this and able to do this now tells me, like, if they needed to get $25 million to do this, to get to a power conference tomorrow, they feel confident that they could do it. Now, obviously, you don't have to have all the money right away, but I think that's the encouraging sign is like they feel like they're able to get to a point with the investment where they can compete at that level. The idea of they're going to think they can be at full revenue share, $20.5 million by next year. That's huge because there's some power conference schools that are concerned about getting to that number. And so the idea that you would be there as a group of 5 team, incredibly encouraging for the trajectory of the athletic department. Obviously, it didn't get you anything, right? So you still got to kind of take that and hope that it works out next time, the ACC, whatever it is. But there's definitely reasons with that offer and with the things that Memphis is able to do to be encouraged about where this athletic department is right now.
The way somebody explained it to me was the hundreds of millions of dollars is a big number, and that's what on some level makes it surprising that the Big 12, broadly speaking, wasn't more interested in this. But you have to remember, this is what the person explained to me, is that it's not like the Big 12 votes on this as like the Big 12 office. It goes to each individual school. And the truth is, each individual school, though this money is a big pot of money, it doesn't move the needle for any individual school too much. And ultimately, it just comes down to these university presidents and chancellors. Too many of them don't want to be in business with Memphis. And the money, though, is a big pot. Once you start dividing it up, it doesn't really change things too much at BYU. It doesn't change things too much at Baylor. And so you were always going to be hard time getting the yes votes.
Yeah, I think also when you look at the Big 12, people say like, well, how could they turn down this money, right? Again, the money is what it is different than just seeing a dollar figure. But also, Memphis has tried to join the Big 12 at least 4 times in the last decade or so, right? And so if you're one of those Big 12 presidents, you're sitting there one day and something comes across your desk and it's a proposal for Memphis to join the Big 12. You look at it and you say, well, I already rejected them this time, and this time. And somebody might say, or the proposal says, no, really, this is different this time. The stadium renovations are happening. The football team is a lot better consistently than it has been. The academics are better. The investment is there. And all that stuff is true. And it's important to note that it is. But if you're, again, a Big 12 president who's rejected this school multiple times, I don't know that you're necessarily reading into that stuff super closely because you're saying this is the same school that I already voted against before and that I wasn't interested in. And I think that was the problem for Memphis in this situation. I think when you've been rejected that many times, even if you have addressed some of the things that maybe caused that in the past, it just wasn't the right time. And again, all this stuff, carpets realignment, it's all about the right place and the right time. And Memphis put together an offer that maybe would have been good enough a couple years ago, but now with no chain reaction, conference realignment stuff happening, it doesn't move the needle.
Obviously, the goal has always been to get into what we now call a Power 4 conference. We've never quite been able to get to that leap unless you count the one time they were in the Big East for a matter of months, but never actually participated. So what's next? Is the worst case scenario just take this money that's available and overwhelm the AAC, just outspend the AAC, dominate this league to where you make yourself even more attractive than they perceive you to be right now?
Yeah, well, first of all, as I learned at Media Days on Friday, AAC has been
the American.
Tim Pernetti said he's coming. He said he's coming for anyone who says that. So I think you better watch out.
I apologize, Tim. My intentions are good. The American. I'll call you whatever.
My antennas are up now because we heard that so many times. Every time I talked to somebody on Friday, it was like, don't remember the AAC.
Yeah. Well, good. We live in a market where people still say Memphis State.
Yeah,
exactly. So like, good luck.
Yeah, we'll see about that, but. I just, that's obviously that idea sounds good, right? And it sounds good to watch your team win consistently in every sport, but I don't think people are going to be that happy about that, even if Memphis is dominating, which, to be fair, Memphis has not exactly been dominant in the sports that you would expect Memphis to be dominant in, even in this conference over the past couple of years, right? Not even reaching the American title game since 2019 for football. Basketball, obviously last year, win the regular season title for the first time, but that hadn't happened for a while. And so there is, like, if you looked at it a couple years and you said Memphis won the conference championship in those sports multiple years in a row, then you would have a different case, I think, for that. In terms of worst case scenario, I think most fans would say moving anywhere is a better scenario than staying. So I think a lot of people would agree with that. But again, you don't want to move to a conference that's not stable or that things are constantly changing or that the money isn't right. I think that was, again, the biggest thing with the Pac-12 is what is this deal financially? And there's still questions about it, even though they've started to get that media rights deal kind of figured out. And so, yeah, the next steps are not clear at all. I mean, I think it depends. You're going to wait and see what happens with some other conferences. Obviously, Memphis has shown with the Big 12 offer that they're willing to be proactive, which I think is a positive, but you still never know.
Also last week while I was out, and I guess I just missed all the good stuff, there were reports that former Memphis defensive back Taj Rael leaked important information to UTSA's quarterback before last year's game. The Tigers lost that game. Do we believe this weird betrayal, and that really is what it was, actually cost Memphis a conference championship?
No, and if you ask coaches from both teams, if you ask Ryne Sandberg, I don't think he would tell you that. And I think that's the person we should probably listen to on this, right? I know people on social media have their opinions, but again, if Ryne Sandberg is saying, look, we lost the game, you can go back and watch that game. And yes, UTSA's offense was amazing in the first half. I said it at the time before knowing about all this, and I think it's still true now. The game was lost for Memphis in the third quarter offensively. They had a couple drives where they just couldn't move the ball at all, and the game got out of reach, and the game was close at the end, 44-36. That's because Memphis scored 2 touchdowns kind of in garbage time. The game was not really competitive in the fourth quarter. And so, yeah, they lost the game. UTSA had kind of turned their season around. They played a lot better the second half of the season. So it wasn't like a stunning result. The way that Memphis was kind of outclassed, especially in that third quarter, was not expected for sure. But look, I think it's just, you heard what Owen McCown said. You heard what Jeff Traylor said. I understand people are not happy with that, and this is going to continue. Teams don't play this year. If they were to play in the title game this year, then we'd have a lot to talk about, obviously. But no, I think Memphis lost that game because they got outplayed on that day. Again, it's exactly what Ryan Silverfield said. And yeah, it's something that's always crazy with college football, and that happened right before media days. So that was the kind of the talk of Friday in Charlotte. But yeah, I think everybody kind of said, let's just move on and move forward.
Yeah, I respect Ryan for handling it that way. And obviously there's no way to know for sure how much, if at all, this impacted the game. I will say that I read the lawyer's statement representing the young man. And with all due respect, that's just total bullshit. He said the player was not trying to manipulate the game or harm his former teammates. And at least in the exchange I read, he was very much trying to manipulate the game, and he was actually telling the quarterback to pick on a defensive back who had a hamstring injury of some sort. Whatever, we'll let it go, but we don't have to lie for you. You were doing exactly what it looked like you were doing.
Well, the thing is, though, about that, so you heard Owen McCown say it didn't make any sense, and people were confused about that. I don't know if this is exactly what he said, but so the message you're talking about, which was about Cortland Marsh, saying that they should pick on him and that he has a hamstring injury. Cortland Marsh had been out the entire season. He did not play in that game, and he was never going to play in that game, and he had an arm injury, not a hamstring injury. So when he says it didn't make any sense, that didn't make any sense. That's fair. Now, again, you're trying to, whatever he was trying to do was not.
Yeah, the guy might be an idiot, but it doesn't mean he wasn't trying to be helpful for the other team.
Faith,
he might be a dummy, but it doesn't mean he wasn't trying to manipulate the game.
And so that's, yes, the intention, regardless of what that was. And again, that's why I just want to say with that particular statement by Owen McCown, right, I understood what he was saying. And again, we're talking about people who are high school teammates. That's where the relationship was. It wasn't like he just randomly found somebody and started DMing him. But yeah, like you said, that statement, I don't know that it made sense. I think people just, you got to take it and move on. Obviously some people do things and they're unhappy. It was not the right thing to do. At this point, he's at a different school. The two teams, UTSA and Memphis, aren't playing this year. It is what it is. There's nothing, I think it was clear nothing was ever going to happen from a discipline standpoint. And so there's really nothing to do right at this point besides move forward. There's not going to be any discipline. Players are going to be on their different teams, and we're going to have to just do that.
So as you noted in the commercial appeal this morning, the Tigers start practice tomorrow. We're about a month out from the season opener. Most people believe the starting quarterback is going to be Nevada transfer Brendan Lewis, but he has not been named the starting quarterback yet. Why?
Yeah, they still want to have a competition. They want to give everybody a chance, and there are other guys who are talented in that room. And to be honest, he's not incentivized to name a starter until right before the season starts, right? Keep people guessing. I don't think, again, Chattanooga is the week 1 opponent. I don't think the game is going to be decided based on when they find out who Memphis' starter is, with all due respect to Chattanooga, obviously. But I think Brendan Lewis, we've heard it throughout the spring, even before spring, from pretty much every coach, which is look, he started 35 games. Everybody else in that room has combined for 0 starts. Right. Actually 1 snap total in college. So experience is going to be important, especially for a team that right now feels like it and should compete at the top of the conference and compete for the conference title. If you looked at your roster and you said, we're not going to be competitive at all, maybe you're incentivized to start the freshman quarterback and see what you have and develop him moving forward. But there's a lot of guys they brought in to compete this year, to be competitive. And so for that reason, it just feels like Brendan Lewis has to be the guy, at least at the beginning of the season. And look, he's older than Seth Hennigan. I mean, that's the thing where this is his 6th year of college. He started 35 games. Now, he hasn't won a lot of games. He obviously hasn't played on teams that have been very good between Colorado and Nevada. Colorado before Deion got there.
Right.
And so it's hard to kind of gauge the expectations, because I think for him it's going to be different too, of now you're expected to win every game. Whereas in the past, it was like, just go out there and, play and we'll see what happens. So, but yeah, I would be pretty surprised if he is not the starting quarterback against Chattanooga.
Another thing you noted this morning is that as the Tigers, most people know, they lost basically all the starters, but the top 3 receivers, most notably Rock Taylor. I know Ryan brought in some interesting transfers, one from Louisville, one from Purdue. But in your opinion, you've seen it as much as anybody else. Who emerges as the Tigers' best receiver, best target this season?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the key questions right now is where is the productivity going to come from? I think you mentioned Purdue, C.J. Smith, who's a transfer from Purdue, started his career at Georgia. We saw him in the spring game kind of flash crazy speed. If you look at in the video game, who's the highest, fastest players ratings, he's on there. And so he's one of those types of guys who can stretch the field and gives them a kind of dynamic that I don't know they've had exactly. Demir Blankowski kind of gave them that last year. But if CJ Smith can consistently stay healthy and be a multi-layered receiver, I think he could be that guy. Brady Cluse is somebody they've been really high on. He was a true freshman last year and saw him play a little bit towards the end of the season. And then suddenly you look around the receiver room and everybody who was ahead of him last year is gone. And so now he has the potential to be one of the starting receivers, to be the top receiver. Even offensive coordinator Tim Cramsey told me before spring practices, yeah, he could be our top guy. And there's still a lot of, I think, things to figure out in that room. A lot of these positions we go into this point, and especially if we've been around the team, we have an idea of okay, well, this guy's probably going to start. He played this much at this other school as a transfer. With the receivers, I think there's real opportunity for guys to emerge. And even in the season starts, if somebody's not productive, they're going to keep giving guys chances because they need somebody to be able to stretch the field. They need somebody to be able to be a possession receiver. They lost Kobe Drake, who was kind of that guy the past couple years. And so those are some options. Jaden Thompson from Louisville is another guy. But yeah, it's wide open right now, I think, at receiver.
Last thing before I get you out of here, and I appreciate your time as well. There's no official preseason poll in the American, but for what it's worth, Caesar Sportsbook has odds, and they have the Tigers projected to finish 4th in the American this season. Does that sound about right to you? Too high, too low? Where are you at on that?
It sounds right. I think if I did, like you said, there wasn't a poll. And so if I voted, and I think that's where I'd put Memphis, I think there's a case to be made as high as number 2. It feels like Tulane right now should be number 1, especially with Jake Retzloff coming over. That was their biggest question was quarterback, and now they've got maybe the best quarterback in the conference, right, with what he did at BYU last year. And so I think Tulane, that doesn't mean they're going to win the conference, but I think it's, if you're around this and you're following it, there probably should be the pick to be number 1. UTSA, Navy, Memphis, 2, 3, 4. I think you can make a case for any of them. Like I said, UTSA, they played a lot better at the end of last season, brought back their quarterback. That's always big at the Group of 5 level. And they could be really good. And then Navy, we know what they did last year. That game against Memphis is going to be huge, obviously, towards the end of the season. Brought back their quarterback, who was one of the best quarterbacks in the country last year. And I think those 4 teams kind of in a tier of their own. And then behind them, South Florida is a team that I think has a lot of potential with their quarterback, Byron Brown, who was basically injured for all of last season. But it feels like it's open, right? It doesn't. Last year, we went into it saying Memphis is pretty clearly the top team in this conference preseason. And now I think Tulane is up there, but I think that there's a case to be made for a lot of these teams. And so that should make it interesting as the season gets underway.
Terrific stuff, man. Like always, I appreciate your time. It's Jonah Dylan. Make sure you're reading him, commercialappeal.com. Follow him on X at @TheJonahDylan. Keep doing what you're doing because you're among the people that help keep us updated on what's going on with Tiger football. Appreciate you being here, and we'll keep reading.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks so much. We come back, turn our attention to Colorado, where Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, held a press conference yesterday and disclosed for the first time that he had been diagnosed with bladder cancer. He had a nice message, one I think all of us should subscribe to. We'll share it with you next. Gary Parrish Show presented by OrthoSouth.
It's time for our Pick 6, Mike. 6 classics that we're most looking forward to in the 2025 football season.
Las Vegas, obviously, that's the Grambling State University, Jackson State University clash. They're taking 2 iconic HBCU brands going to an NFL stadium in Las Vegas.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
You get to the main event, and you hear the crowd. There's some rumblings in the crowd.
Here we go.
They say, "We want truth."
I love how John Cena said when they were chanting, "We want truth." You can't handle the truth.
There you go.
I loved it.
He takes me off, boom. Takes the mask off, boom. And it's our freaking truth. God, man, he cost John Cena the match.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and OrthoSouth understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. And that's because OrthoSouth welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays, in the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and OrthoSouth will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's OrthoSouth at orthosouth.org. Now, I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, held a press conference yesterday alongside his medical team and disclosed for the first time that the reason he had been away from Boulder, Colorado, away from campus for much of this offseason is because he was back home in Texas after being diagnosed with bladder cancer. The good news, let's jump right to that. He, at this moment, according to he and his doctors, he's cancer-free right now, but he really emphasized in this press conference yesterday, early detection really might have changed the outcome of this and encouraged everybody to get checked out regularly. And if you ever feel like something's wrong, don't wait. Get checked out immediately, because the quicker you can spot any of this stuff, the better. Bennett, you take care of yourself?
Yeah, I think so. I just had to do a quick Google search. The gallbladder and the bladder are not the same. Those are two different things, correct? Because my dad had gallbladder surgery when he was younger, around my age, and so it's always in the back of my head, these are two different things.
I'm gonna sit here and be quiet. You're not gonna get me to say anything stupid.
So I think I'm okay.
I never went to medical school, Bennett. If you want to ask me how to use a comma or an M dash, I can do that. But don't start asking me to break down the human body. I slept through that class.
So I didn't know, because he got his bladder removed, correct? Isn't that what he said?
Yes.
I didn't know you could do that.
Oh, buddy. You learn something new every day.
I didn't know you could do that. So, you do learn something new every day. No, I'm glad he's good, because I think leading up to this press conference this week, I think we all thought he was going to step away. I think that's what everybody was assuming was about to happen, because he had just been kind of in the news and he wasn't there over the summer in Colorado. And so I think people were thinking maybe he's about to step away because he's dealing with health stuff. And so I'm glad he's not. I'm glad he's okay.
Obviously, he has been dealing with health stuff, though, in recent years. He had to have part of his foot amputated, and that was a recent surgery, and now obviously been dealing with this. But among the messages yesterday was early detection is very important. Now, it should be noted, we live in a country where just because you want to go to the doctor because you think something's wrong with you, we live in a country where not everybody can.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, by the way, it's getting worse. You'll read about that later. I recognize there's people listening right now who would love to go to the doctor to get something checked out, but have no practical way to do that because of the healthcare system in the United States. It's a rough deal.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can, and I think this was his larger message, if you can, you should, because just look last week elsewhere in college athletics. Bill Self went back to the hospital, the Hall of Fame Kansas coach, to have another heart procedure, his second one in recent years. And everything seems to be fine now. But how did we get to this place? Bill recognized a shortness of breath, and he was a little fatigued. And rather than say, I'm okay, I'll be fine, it's no big deal, I'm probably just a little tired, he said, let's go get this checked out, because what if it is possibly a big deal? And, that can be the key to, making sure you live to see 82 instead of, you're gone at 62. Paying attention to your body. And so there's a real, I think, sincere and beneficial message in there from Deion Sanders yesterday, and I can appreciate him using the platform that he brings to just America to make the point he wanted to make yesterday. He, in theory, didn't have to ever discuss this if he didn't want to. He could just say, I was dealing with a medical condition, now I feel better, and I'm looking forward to getting back to work. But he seemed to intentionally want to discuss exactly what happened and exactly how they got it diagnosed and exactly how he's doing now, and then hopefully, leave anybody watching with a real life lesson in there that could maybe save somebody else's life. And if that just encourages one person who notices something different in their body going on today to go get it checked out as opposed to wait, well, then that's a press conference worth doing. Those are words worth sharing. Like, I know somebody who was very close to me when I grew up, whose mother, felt a lump and ignored it and, saw it not going away. And, well, I'm sure it's nothing. It's probably nothing. And by the time she went to the doctor, it was too late, And who knows if the first time she noticed something, if she would have gone and gotten it checked out, if everything couldn't have been different, if she wouldn't still be here right now, not only with her children, but with her grandchildren. You just don't know. And so I appreciated the way Deion handled all of that yesterday. And obviously we wish him good thoughts going forward. He's been a massive sports figure in this country, famous person in this country, icon in this country for a long, long time. And good to hear that he's doing better.
Number 2.
Luka Donćić was at Yankee Stadium last night for the Yanks game, met up with Aaron Judge before the game, and this comes after he was on the cover of a magazine yesterday morning. I think people are starting to get the message. Luka Donćić ain't fat no more.
No.
He's getting in shape. Look at it. That's not a fat man, Bennett. Look at that. That's not a fat man.
Yeah, he looks good.
He looks good. Mm-hmm. Oh, he looks so good. Oh, Nico Harrison, what have you done? Nico Harrison did this.
You motivated a man. You motivated a man. I heard people getting off the Ozempic jokes too. He's not on Ozempic. Like he wouldn't be strong if he was on it. Ozempic, you lose your muscle.
I don't care what he's on. He looks great.
Yeah. He looks great.
He could be on it, not on it. I don't care. I'm a visual person. I'm just looking at Luka Donćić. I don't need to ask any questions. I don't need to know how he got to look like that. I'm just glad he looks like that. And you know who else is probably glad he looks like that? The LA Lakers. And this really is the byproduct of Nico Harrison. If you just trade Luka Donćić and you just say, we felt like defense wins championships and we're trying to emphasize that side of the ball, and so we wish him well, he's an amazing player, then maybe he's just like, well, I guess they wanted me to guard better. But when you call him fat as he's walking out the door, you say you're worried that he can't stay in shape, that he's just going to balloon and balloon and balloon the rest of his career, you are genuinely motivating that person to do everything they can to look like that. Break up with a girl someday. Don't actually do this, but watch what happens if you do. Break up with a girl someday and let her think, either because it's in her head or because you told her. The reason is because you weren't attracted to her anymore because she kept gaining weight. On some level, that is among the reasons Nico Harrison said he wanted to get out of the Luka Donćić business. He keeps gaining weight. He don't look the way I want him to look. He don't look the way I need him to look. We believe it's only going to get worse over time. He don't take care of his body. Look at how Luka Donćić has responded. It's the same thing. You ever broke up with somebody? This happens in couples all the time. You see people, they get together. They both look like they ought to be together. You see a picture of them, you go, yeah, I guess those two people look like, that makes sense. I can see why they started sleeping together. That makes sense to me. and then you see them, 4 years into the relationship. And one of them, for a variety of reasons, is, put on, they don't look the same anymore. You showed the pictures and they don't look the same anymore. You let the one person who looks the same break up with the person who doesn't look the same anymore and let it be known that, they just gained so much weight and it just changed the dynamics of the relationship. Give it 6 months and that person's going to be in the best shape of their life.
True.
It is
That's
the way
true.
it happened. Buddy, it happened to me. It happened to me when I was in college. I got very comfortable in a relationship. Started working at Pizza Hut. That means you eat pizza every day. I don't know if you ever thought about what happens when you eat pizza every day, but it ain't good for nobody.
I've been there.
Okay? So, put on a little bit of weight. Next thing you know, I got dumped.
I
all
worked
right?
in Big Pizza as well. Yes.
It's just sitting there all the time.
It's always there.
It's just right there.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess I'll just have one more slice. By the end of the night, you've had 8 slices. You've drank 4 Dr. Peppers, and now you weigh 195 pounds or whatever. All right? So, summer after I want to say my junior year of college, I get broken up with. And it wasn't because I was a fatty. It's probably just because I was a bad boyfriend. But, I was a fatty. I had turned into a fatty at the age of, 21. I was just a fatty running around, all right? And, buddy, I got broken up with. Next thing you know, you're single. And you know what you realize when you're single?
You can't be a fatty.
It's not, I mean, you can, Bennett. That's harsh. But,
I've been there. Don't get it twisted.
If you're ever trying to make somebody feel bad for dumping you, the first thing you got to do is, at least the first thing, I'll just speak for myself, okay? I'll speak for myself. The first thing I thought I had to do is I had to stop being a fatty. And so I am not exaggerating. I started running all day, every day. I just run in circles. I just ran every day, all day, every day. And when I went back to school for my senior year of college, when I walked into classes with people I had already had classes with, people I had drank beers with, people I had worked on projects with, at first sight, they didn't recognize me.
It's impressive, man.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you. Well, look at me now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, look at me now. But I was motivated because I felt on some level being a fatty had upended my life. Beta. Fast forward all these years and Luka Donćić is going through the same thing.
It appears so.
Fast forward, Luka Donćić is like a modern day me.
Yeah.
He was broken up with in part because he was a fatty, and he said, well, I'm not going to be like this anymore. And now look at him. There's your future MVP. There's your 2026 NBA MVP. Skinny Luka Donćić.
He'd get my vote.
He'd get my vote,
He would
too.
get my vote.
I'm proud of him.
I vote John number 1, Luka number 2.
I'm proud of him because here's a man who listened to the criticism, right? Not, in all seriousness, not every NBA player listens to the criticism when they talk about their bodies, I can think of one.
Careful.
Plays down in New Orleans.
Careful.
People have been telling him he needs to take better care of his body for years, and he seems to, for the most part, ignore them. But Luka Donćić appears to have gotten the message loud and clear.
I think he did.
And now he looks so good. I bet he's close to having abs.
Why was he at a Yankees game? I mean, I guess it's the Yankees, whatever.
I'm sure there's an agent, shoe, card, something connection between him and Aaron Judge or between him and somebody. And,
how you think that made Shohei feel?
Well, how do you want Shohei to feel?
I mean, I would just, Lakers, Dodgers, you would just think.
Well, you just say, I'm buddies with Aaron Judge. I bet they're buddies with Aaron Judge.
I mean, those guys are in a competition this season.
Are you concerned about Shohei's feelings?
Yes.
It could be. I don't want to speak for Shohei. I think Shohei is mature enough to understand that if Luka Donćić wants to go, fist bump Aaron Judge and show off his new abs, and I think he's okay with it. The truth is, Luka's probably there on some business thing, sponsorship thing, and it was like, oh, and tonight we're taking you to Yankee Stadium, and oh, by the way, we'll take you to say what's up to Aaron Judge, and the whole world will get to see how skinny you are, and then they'll talk about it tomorrow. It's something like that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's not. I think you're making it out to be a bit. I bet you Shohei's okay with it. Luka Donćić looks great. On opening night, that'll be the story.
Oh, they're both Jordan Brand.
There you go.
That's it.
It's going to be something like that. It's always something like that.
Yeah.
It's always something like that. So, on opening night, here's the story. I'm already telling you the story. When the Lakers have their opening night game, here's will be the story. And look at Luka Donćić, down 25 pounds from last season. That's going to be part of the story. Luka Donćić looks better than he's ever looked. Luka Donćić looks better than he's looked in years. Oh, the Dallas Mavericks, all you had to do was figure out a way to motivate him yourself. You didn't have to trade him to the Lakers to motivate him. You should have figured out how to do it yourself, dummies. He looks good.
Looks good. I'm happy for him.
I'm happy for him, too.
Number 3.
All right, Bennett.
What's going on?
You tell me what's going on.
Yeah.
All right? Because I don't follow this stuff like you follow it. But
yeah,
Christian Wilkins is apparently an NFL player.
Mm-hmm.
All right? I didn't know that before this came up. And he's been a member of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
And he got released last week, and people were like, oh, I wonder when he got released. I wonder what's going on there. And Adam Schefter yesterday afternoon jumped on ESPN. And I was at home. I traveled home from vacation. Thanks to you and Lang Witter for handling things while I was gone.
For sure.
So I'm just to travel home from vacation. I'm getting settled in back home yesterday, and I've got on ESPN. I'm just trying to catch up on stuff because I unplugged a little bit while I was out of town. And I see Adam Schefter. He's on TV, and he's talking about Christian Wilkins, and he's adding some context. And he says, well, you know, there might have been a situation in the locker room one time where he kissed a man, one of his teammates, and one of his teammates took great offense to the kiss. And, like, this became a thing that was a thing within that franchise. And it played a role in the Raiders removing Christian Wilkins from the team. Bennett, is that your understanding? A man lost his job in part because he kissed one of his teammates.
I think it was the icing on the cake. I think what really happened was, and Christian Wilkins is a good player. He's a former national champion, I believe, at Clemson. But he was coming back from an injury that he suffered, a foot fracture. And from what I gather, the Raiders were not happy with how he attacked his rehab process. He didn't do the things that they were wanting him to do.
I read that they wanted him to have a specific surgery, and he declined to have it.
So I think that this incident in the locker room with him kissing his teammate on the forehead was just... They were looking for an excuse to move on from this guy. Right. And when that teammate came, I guess, went to HR or whatever and said, yo, this dude kissed me on the forehead. I'm mad. They were like, okay, you got to go.
Would you turn me in if I kissed you on the forehead?
I don't think so.
I don't either.
I don't think so.
Would you be freaked out if I kissed you on the forehead?
I might need a day off. You know,
where is it appropriate to kiss in the year 2025? Like if I just
or a coworker,
I
would say no kisses.
I think no kissing. I don't think you can kiss anymore.
I mean, I'm sure in France you do the, like, you know,
like, but I don't think I'd feel comfortable kissing Roser.
I don't think so either.
Yeah,
I don't think so either. I think any type of kissing in the workplace is probably grounds for termination. Just in the year 2025, I don't. Again, I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying.
All jokes aside, I have changed my behavior with coworkers in the sense of, like, I don't really hug people anymore. Like coworkers. I'm a lot of fist bump here, fist bump there. Not a lot of hugs, and like, just because you don't want anybody to get the wrong idea. Like, I remember a few years ago, like right in the heart of the whole Me Too movement, I remember I was working sideline at a Thanksgiving tournament, I want to say in Charleston, South Carolina. And it was a multiple day thing. And they came to me, some producer or somebody came to me, and they were like, hey, there's a student, young woman from College of Charleston, and she's in journalism, broadcasting, and she, got in touch with us one thing or another, and she's interested in being a sideline reporter. Would you mind if she shadowed you for, the next couple of days and just, you teach her, just let her shadow you and see how you do your job? And I was like, well, she should probably try to learn from like Tracy Wolfson, not me. Like, I don't know that I'm the person to be learning sideline reporting from, but absolutely. Whatever you need me to do, I'll do it. And so the young woman shows up, and I meet her, and she looks exactly like a young sideline reporter. And she was just the most pleasant, sweet, everything. And we sat together and we talked through it, and I answered all the questions that that she had, and like we genuinely spent 2 days kind of together. And at the end of it, game's over, second night, we're all out by the truck. That's a pretty customary thing to do. Like the broadcasters and the sideline reporters, they go out to the truck. You just tell everybody in graphics and production, like, hey, good job, everybody. It's great to see you. Thanks for, and they go, hey, you did a good job. And you say, oh man, I had the easy part. And you do all that stuff. And everybody's, hey, are y'all getting a drink back at the hotel? And you have those conversations, and it's pretty normal stuff. So this young woman, she was like, hey, just wanted to thank you so much, for letting me hang out the past couple of days. And she came in and like to almost hug, like to get, and it was nothing. It was totally innocent. She was just, that was her way of like, hey, and I just sort of put the hand out, and it got kind of awkward, and she fist bumped me. But I was like, in my head, I was like, here I am, mid-40s at the time, maybe early 40s at the time, because it was a while ago. And what are the optics of me in this moment hugging a young college student outside of a truck after a game? So just avoid all the optics, and fist bumping kept it moving. But here's the point. I felt awkward when I did it, but I was trying to just avoid, by trying to avoid what a potentially awkward situation, I made the whole thing awkward.
Yeah, I think.
You think I need to lighten up a little bit?
I think that I don't want to live in a world where we can't hug.
I like hugging.
I think hugs are fine. I think hugs are fine, and you can. I think you just have to be self-aware and
you have to be get in and get out,
and just get
in and get out. Every once in a while, though, here's the problem: there's creeps among us.
Yeah,
and they ruin it for us. They want to hug a little too long, put an arm a little too close to something.
I think the side hug is perfectly acceptable in the workplace. Or a bro hug. Yeah.
I don't know. You have to take it up with. You got to talk.
I think
you got to walk down the hall and talk to them.
I know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe and I'll be careful. I need to be careful.
I'm all fist bumps now.
Maybe a 2-hand hug's a little aggressive. All I know is
the creeps ruin it for us because they're out there trying to hug a little too long. The creeps.
Yeah.
I'd like to think of myself as a pretty good hugger.
Yeah.
But I think the creeps have screwed it up for all of us. I'm
hugging a little too tight.
I'm a respectful
Maybe
hugger.
do like a little back rub with the hug. That's unacceptable. You can't do that.
You don't need to be rubbing anybody's back.
Yeah, no rubbing.
No rubbing, you weirdos.
No rubbing.
Get your hand off of her back, weirdo.
No, I mean, it sounds like Christian Wilkins is a dude that just plays too much. That's what it sounds like.
He might just play too much.
It's a dude that plays too much, and his teammates are sick of him. That's exactly what this is. And so the Raiders, who are already looking for an excuse to move on from this guy, were like, okay, he didn't get the surgery we wanted, and he didn't attack his rehab the way that we wanted, and his teammates are sick of it.
Yes.
Like, maybe we should just move on. That's what it sounds like.
Imagine you got to go home and tell your family. They'd be like, so what happened at work?
Yeah.
You lost your job. And it's like, well, I think it might be because I kissed one of my coworkers on the head.
Yeah, see, that's the unfortunate part that got, because it's like, this dude's weird, but I really just think he's just like a dude that plays too much. That's what it is.
He plays too much.
We all know those people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just doesn't stop.
Just stop. Just cut it out, man.
Just stop,
right.
dude.
Stop.
Yeah.
You know who had a reputation for that kind, just wouldn't calm down in the NBA? Talk to people in the NBA. Just like, dude, stop playing around so much. This is why Kobe hates you. Dwight Howard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, just stop playing. Just cut it out. That's enough. That's enough out of you.
Yep.
Like Kobe wanted to kill that guy because he just wouldn't stop playing all the time. We all know those people. Anyway, good luck to Christian Wilkins, I guess, man.
I mean, he's a good player. Like, I would think he would end up somewhere eventually because, again, he's a good player. But we'll see.
Got to learn
Maybe
to keep
he plays too much.
Got to learn to keep his lips to himself. He got to learn to keep his lips to himself.
Yeah, I guess so.
Number 4.
A gunman who killed 4 people at a Manhattan office building before killing himself last night was trying to target the headquarters of the NFL, but took the wrong elevator, Mayor Eric Adams said early this morning. You familiar with this story?
Yeah, it did take kind of a wild turn, like just because he said in his manifesto or what, he had a letter, right?
In his pocket.
Yeah, and he said that he thinks he's suffering from CTE and wants them to study his brain.
Shot himself in the chest to preserve his brain. So this happened like at 52nd and Park Avenue. For people who are unfamiliar with Manhattan, this is not very far from where Luigi knocked out old buddy.
It's right over there.
It's right there. This is all like right where I'm at every day during the winter. This is like the heart of Manhattan. Evidence being that like the Blackstone offices are in this building.
Yeah.
But the NFL offices are also in this building. So here's the story as we know it right now.
27-year-old from Nevada, drives across the country and arrived in New York City like yesterday. And only a few hours after arriving, walked into this skyscraper in Midtown Manhattan. I mean, this is a busy part of New York.
Yeah.
This is where all the money people are.
Right.
And he walked in with a rifle, high-powered weapon, and opened fire in the lobby and was on his way to the NFL floors, but took the wrong elevator and ended up on the 33rd floor instead of like the 5th, 6th, 7th, wherever he was supposed to be. And, you know, a police officer lost his life. Another woman was shot who clearly had nothing to do with nothing.
Right.
An employee of the NFL is in critical but stable condition, according to NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell. But you're exactly right. According to the man's note that he had in his pocket, he struggles with his mental health. He believes, because of CTE, that he believes is a byproduct of him playing high school football. And he did not believe that the NFL had done enough to curb this within the sport. And he was going there to do what he was going there to do. And now at least 4 people are dead, more are injured. And it's another mass shooting by a crazy person in America. And if you're wondering, here's the answer to the question. Well, did they have any documentation that he was struggling with mental health? Oh, yeah, it's in the file. It's all documented. This is a person that was on the radar for people who have such radars. This was a mentally unstable person. There's evidence to support that. This is not like nobody ever saw this coming. There's stuff in a file somewhere. He had been flagged. Oh, well, then surely he wasn't licensed to carry a gun. Oh, no, he was. Yes, he was. And so here we are again, you know, crazy person with a gun. It's a classic American story at this point. We talk about this stuff all the time, in part because it happens all the time. There's got to be a better way to do this. And if you genuinely think people like this should be licensed to own guns, I don't know what to tell you. If you don't think we need stricter gun laws in this country to at least attempt to prevent something like this from happening,
getting a gun, yeah,
I don't know what to tell you. I acknowledge up front that it's possible no gun law ever created could have prevented this person from doing what he did if he genuinely wanted to do it. I got you. Like, I understand. But, like, shouldn't we at least have laws to try to prevent it? You know? Similarly, if a 16-year-old really wants to get his hands on a pack of cigarettes, I bet you he can somehow, some way. But that doesn't prevent us from putting laws in place to try to keep cigarettes out of the hands of 16-year-olds. I'm certain, because, you know, when I was 17 years old, if I wanted to get a bottle of vodka or a 6-pack of beer, there were ways to get that done. We got that done. We didn't spend our entire high school years not drinking. If you're 17 years old and you want to get your hands on alcohol and you're really committed to the cause, you can do that. You could do that. We still put laws in place to try to prevent 17-year-olds from getting their hands on that stuff. We still try. We at least try. I don't know why we wouldn't try a little harder to keep guns like this out of the hands of people like this. We don't really try in this country. And so we just keep doing what we keep doing. And it's just a reminder that, no, we're not all going to get shot. Most of us ain't. But there is nowhere in this country where you are at zero risk of getting shot. There's nowhere in this country. Not your classroom at school, not your movie theater, not your workplace in a skyscraper in Midtown Manhattan. Nowhere. This is what made the story out in Cordova a few weeks ago with the Ole Miss football players so interesting to me. We talked about it. I fear I didn't make my point as eloquently as I would have liked. My point wasn't that we haven't had gun violence forever. My point is that was a nice part of town, relatively speaking. Like that neighborhood in Cordova where that pool party was that resulted in gunfire, that resulted in an Ole Miss football player being dead. That neighborhood is 50 times nicer than the neighborhood I grew up in. 50 times nicer than the neighborhood I grew up in. And the point I was trying to make was when I was growing up, even though I lived in a neighborhood not as nice as that one, a neighborhood, you ready? Poorer than that one. It never occurred to me that somebody might pull a gun out and shoot somebody in the middle of a fight, in the middle of a party, in the middle of anything. I knew if I went to a pool party in my neighborhood, there might be a fight that breaks out. My friends might be the ones that start it. I was very aware that bad things could happen at pool parties and shit could get sideways. But the idea that somebody was going to end it with a gun, they just never popped it. It wasn't a thing. It was not a thing. And now, and this is the point I was trying to make, you have nicer neighborhoods in the Memphis area where that shit happens, where it did happen. That's how much it's changed. There's too many guns. They're everywhere now. And it leads to bad stuff over and over and over again. WREG.com, and that website will wear you out. But if you ever want to know how many gun incidents there are, just go pop on. There's a guy I just saw the other day. I think I sent you like 2 stories from the past week. I sent you one of them. One was just 2 knuckleheads fighting each other, got into an argument. Like they're friends, actually friends. They got into an argument, and it got physical, and one guy shot the other guy, shot his friend. When I was their age, I watched my friends get into fights. I got into like scuffles with my friends. Nobody was going to shoot anybody, though. And yet, here's these 2 guys, fast forward all these years later, and now that little friendly scuffle might end up in gunfight. Another totally separate story, but also in the area. I saw this one. Guy was just playing with a gun in the front yard with his friend. It's just 2, but they're not even mad at each other.
Right.
They're just playing with gun. Accidentally shot his friend in the head. Now he's facing charges, and his friend's got a gunshot wound to the head. There's just too many guns out there. I don't know what to tell you. There's too many out there. And here's another example in New York of a crazy person having his hands on one. And now at least 4 totally innocent people, including a police officer, father of 2, who also had another baby on the way.
Ugh.
Shot dead. For what? There's just got to be a better way to do this, or at least an attempt on the table that makes sense. I don't like that we don't even really try, but I've been saying that for as long as I can say it.
Number 5.
Rest in peace, Ryne Sandberg, Cubs icon, died at the age of 65. Are you too young to have appreciated Ryne Sandberg?
Yeah, I think so. Yes. Like I didn't grow up watching the Cubs on WGN.
That's where it begins with him on some level, and that's why this death last night, when it was announced, resonated not just with Cubs fans, but with everybody who watched baseball in that time. Because as we've talked about before, for the same reason I'm a Mets fan, or at least among the reasons I'm a Mets fan, there are millions of Cubs fans all over this country. And it's because when we were young, the MLB subscription didn't exist.
Right.
If you wanted to watch baseball on TV, you had the game of the week, or you had the Braves on TBS, the Mets on WWR, and the Cubs on WGN. And the Cubs were even especially unique because, don't quote me on this, but it feels true. It feels like the Cubs were on WGN more than the Mets were even on WWR, and perhaps even more than the Braves were on TBS. It felt like the Cubs were on every day. And they didn't have lights at Wrigley Field for the longest time. So all the home games were played during the day. You're a kid growing up in the 80s. We don't have iPads. We don't have a million channels. We don't have Netflix. Kind of just watch what's on TV. Like I grew up watching The Price is Right. I don't know if I loved it or not. I just know that it like what else
you had, yeah.
What else are you going to watch? I guess it's Price is Right again. If you were going to watch baseball, you ended up watching the Cubs. They were just on TV every day. Like, I guess you could watch Donahue. You're 8 years old. You play baseball. You want to watch Donahue or the Cubs? And I know I'm mixing time slots, but you get the point. It was like, well, I guess there's a baseball game on TV, and it's the Cubs again in the day time because they don't have lights on the field. And that's how you get millions of Cubs fans all over this country in my age group. Because we grew up and they're the only things, or at least one of the few things on TV. And Ryne Sandberg, for a decade plus, was the face of that. 10-time All-Star, 9-time Gold Glove winner, 1984 MVP. And it was just interesting. I bet you Cubs fans right now, even some Cubs fans, cannot tell you what a 6-4-3 double play looks like at Wrigley Field in the bottom of the sixth. Just not off the top of your head. I couldn't do it for the Cubs right now off the top of my head. But as this news went down and various group texts were chiming in, Ed, buddy of mine, he just tweeted 6-4-3, Dunston, Sandberg, Durham. Sean Dunston, Ryne Sandberg, Leon Durham. All these years later, you remember that. Now, it wasn't always those three. Mark Grace came in and replaced Leon Durham, and I don't think Raphael I don't think Durham was a part of the first year of Ryne Sandberg, or I'm getting it all mixed up now, but Sean Dunston, rather. I don't think Sean Dunston was there for the beginning of Ryne Sandberg, and I don't think Leon Durham was there for the end of Ryne Sandberg. I think Larry Bowl was maybe there at the beginning, and Mark Grace comes in and replaces Leon Durham. But my point is this. All these years later, my buddy could remember Sean Dunston and Ryne Sandberg and Leon Durham. All these years later, because we watched it on TV every day. So he was a big part of everybody's childhood, especially Cubs fans' childhood. And you just, at the age of 65, just too young. Too young to be gone, but a real giant of the sport, particularly for anybody who grew up watching it in the early 80s, anybody around my age. Like, it was impossible not to be very aware of Ryne Sandberg, the stardom of it, and also, respect him on some level, whether you were a Cubs fan or not, because he was a lot of Cubs fans, most Cubs fans' favorite player. But even if you didn't like the Cubs, you probably liked Ryne Sandberg just a little bit. He was a staple in the All-Star games and on your TV every afternoon, and just left a big legacy. His numbers obviously retired at Wrigley Field. He's in the Baseball Hall of Fame, so he got to experience all those accolades before he passed. But still, 65 years old, man. That's not enough time.
No.
That's not enough time. Rest in peace, and thoughts with his family and all Cubs fans from coast to coast.
What is the biggest Summer League accomplishment so far for this Grizzlies team?
Tuomas Isalo filling out his coaching staff. The Ryne Sanders hiring was essential. It was big time. You have a veteran NBA voice there.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans. Want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
RIP, the AAC. The American Athletic Conference is renaming itself the American Conference, and they come with a new mascot, and his name is Soar the Eagle.
Soar opens his mouth and I'm proud to be American starts playing.
The American.
Proud to be the American.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Catch us if you can at Southland Casino Hotel and win your share of up to $1.8 million in free play and prizes. Join us for drawings every Saturday in May, June, and July. Each month, over 900 winners will take home free play or drive off in a new car or motorcycle. Be there for all 6 grand finale drawings and try to catch us if you can, only at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 up. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Presented by OrthoSouth. Let's wrap this up with GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
A whole bunch of stuff, but let me hit you with something that broke this morning. We didn't include in 5 more things, but it is a notable headline, and that is that the University of Memphis has reached an agreement to play an exhibition game on October 30th. That's Thursday, October 30th, down in Atlanta, State Farm Arena, against Bruce Pearl's Auburn Tigers. So what that seems to suggest is that the Tigers are going to play 2 exhibitions this season. One will be against Auburn on the road, and the other, though not official yet, is expected to be against John Calipari's Arkansas Razorbacks inside FedEx Forum.
Yeah, I love this new norm for the program, especially under the Penny Hardaway era. Like, it's if you're going to have a new look roster almost every season because you're bringing in a bunch of transfers, it makes all the sense in the world to play the highest level competition you can in these exhibition games. And no disrespect to, like, I know we used to play CBU and Lamoille and stuff, but like you need like a test run, right? Like it feels like it's good for the program to. I feel like it benefited them last year playing that game against North Carolina.
No way to know for sure, but I think you can reasonably make that point because, and this is why it's especially important for the University of Memphis, some schools, let's say you're an SEC school, an ACC school, a Big 12 school, Big 10 school, you're going to make your at-large resume, if you're going to make it, probably from January on in your league.
Mm-hmm.
For Memphis, everything's flipped.
Yep.
You have to make your at-large resume in November, December. That means at Florida, Todd Golden can be like, yeah, I'd like to be as good as we can be on opening night, but we can kind of ease into our schedule for the most part. We're going to go several week periods at some point in November, December, playing nothing but bye games.
Mm-hmm.
We can sort of build toward the tough part of our schedule. At Memphis, you need to be able to go from the jump. In fact, it's necessary. You're going to play important games early, and you're going to play important games against Big 12 and SEC schools early. And they're all going to be bigger games for you than they are for them. Like Memphis and Baylor are going to play early in the non-league portion of the schedule. If Baylor loses that, Baylor has 100 opportunities to get good wins in the Big 12. It's not that big of a deal. If Memphis loses that, it's one of the few opportunities Memphis is going to have to add a quality win, and it will be a missed opportunity. Memphis is going to play Ole Miss, and if Ole Miss loses that, it will have 1,000 opportunities in the SEC to make up for it with great losses. I mean, with great victories. At Memphis, if you lose to Ole Miss, it's just a missed opportunity that you don't have very many of them moving forward. So absolutely, play quality opponents with your exhibitions because they can help you be better equipped to deal with them when the regular season actually starts. You'll have a better grasp for, what SEC athletes and Big 12 athletes and ACC athletes feel like, look like. You're not, with all due respect, going to get that from CBU, and you're not going to get that from Lemoyne Owen. You're going to be able to physically overwhelm those teams for the most part. But if you spend 40 minutes playing Auburn and another 40 minutes playing Arkansas, you're going to spend 80 minutes on the court with real high-level SEC caliber athletes, and I think it's reasonable to assume that can be advantageous when you're going to have to play those types of teams and athletes throughout November and December. So I like the strategy. Glad that Penny and Bruce were able to get this done. And again, the date, October 30th, State Farm Arena down in Atlanta.
Auburn and Penny Hardaway's Tigers.
What's today's biggest game?
I'm taking you to the WNBA, 9 o'clock tip. It's on NBA
right.
TV. It's the Aces and the Sparks. And the big headline connected to this one, Cameron Brink is making her season debut. She, of course, was the number 2 pick in the 2024 NBA draft behind Caitlin Clark. She tore her ACL last season, has been sidelined for the past 13 months, but she has now been cleared for competition and is expected to be on the court tonight. Minutes restriction, sure, but she is expected to be on the court inside Crypto.com arena. Las Vegas on the road, 1.5-point favorite. The total is 175.5. Big Bet Bennett right now, you're 245, 215, and 4 plus 8 units. You're doing well. How are you going to act?
You know what? We're going to celebrate Cam Brink's return tonight.
I think
Give
we
me
should.
the home team.
I want to
Give me the home team.
I want to celebrate Cameron Brink's return tonight. Bennett says take the Sparks inside Crypto.com, 9 o'clock tip. You can watch that on NBA TV.
What are we watching on TV?
Okay. I've been gone for a while, Bennett.
Mm-hmm.
I've been gone for a while. I imagine you and Lang and everybody else around here have both watched and discussed Happy Gilmore 2.
We did yesterday, yes.
What is the reviews on Happy Gilmore 2 from...
Okay, here's the reviews.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I think that all the people that love the original will agree with this and have like a lot of nostalgia related to the original. You get some of that. I think the first half of the movie, there are genuinely funny parts. I laughed and I was very into it. The third act, when they play in the actual golf tournament, is rough. It is just rough. And here's why. Because you have all these famous golfers that are playing in this, and they're kind of the comedy relief in it, right? But they're not comedians. And so
I thought, broadly speaking, they were good.
The golfers?
I thought so.
I mean, I thought Zalatoris was good. I did not think anybody else was good. No, I did not. I thought Scottie Scheffler being in prison was funny.
I thought that was
funny.
I thought, okay, maybe they weren't all good. Here's what I thought was actually like made me chuckle a little bit. The whole Scottie Scheffler thing, being back in jail. Spoilers alert, but like
whatever. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I thought Scottie was good in that regard. I thought the Xander Schauffele, that's what she said stuff was.
No, dude.
I thought that was
absolutely
good.
not.
I thought it was good.
That was horrible.
No, I thought it was good.
I disagree with you completely on that. I hated that.
Inserting that's what she said jokes in places where they so clearly don't belong, I thought was funny.
I thought the delivery was subpar and not good. Just not good.
I thought he was fine. And so I thought Xander Schauffele was good there. I thought Scottie Scheffler was good. I thought John Daly was good.
He was all right. Daly was kind of funny.
I thought,
you're going to be able to get that from him. I feel like. I thought Daly was.
He seemed
pretty
pretty
good.
natural acting. He seemed pretty good acting.
I think so too.
I know he's only playing himself,
and
but
it was fun seeing him.
I thought he was good. I thought them writing him in the way they wrote him in was good.
Yeah.
Like here's the truth. It came out while my family and I were on vacation.
Yeah.
We didn't want to just watch it on iPads all independent of each other.
No, let's watch it together.
Let's all watch it together.
We did the same.
So we saved it for when we got back home, and we watched it. I think we started it late Sunday night after midnight. Obviously, everybody falls asleep.
Yeah.
We finished it last night, and we had a perfectly fine time watching it.
And that's what I said.
It was perfectly fine. When people are just shitting on it, I'm like, what did you expect? And I've heard some people say, well, my God, it's so unrealistic. The whole premise is unrealistic. Like, what are you talking about?
No, that is true.
An aspiring hockey player picks up a golf club and becomes one of the greatest golfers of all time.
Right.
Like, the whole premise is unrealistic. Although, on that note, there was a moment this is so stupid.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't bothered by any of the unrealistic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And all of it is unrealistic. Somebody hitting the ball. Every bit of But, so you learn in the first act, his wife is dead because he hit her with a tee shot.
That was hilarious.
Okay, fine. Then, as they're preparing for the big match, Bad Bunny, I thought Bad Bunny was great.
Bad Bunny was great.
I thought Bad Bunny was great. I thought Travis Kelce was good.
He was pretty good too.
Bad Bunny was great.
Yeah.
Bad Bunny was funny.
He really was. I was surprised.
Bad Bunny was funny. So then as they're preparing for that, Bad Bunny's little sidekick, the guy that's on SNL.
Yes.
His name escapes me. But they're hitting him with golf balls intentionally. And this is the thought that went through my head. Well, there's no way you could accidentally kill your wife by hitting her with a golf ball and then comfortably hit golf balls at another man like that. I got caught up on that. I got caught up on that for a second. And I was like, that's a plot fail. Because Happy Gilmore would not be comfortable hitting balls at this person. And then I was like, shut up. It's Happy Gilmore. Don't get caught up on the plot fails. But I got stuck on that for like 4 seconds.
No, I would I completely agree with what you said. Like, it is like the perfect movie to just have on, and when you're playing on your phone and like what it was perfectly like I would recommend it to people. I would, like, if you loved the original, totally worth watching. I think if you haven't seen the original, then you can't watch that one. Like, that's impossible. You have to be a fan of the original.
You have to take it for what it is.
You have to take it for what it is.
Take it for what it is. I thought it was sweet him having his actual daughters in there. Film.
Yeah, that was cool.
And his actual wife's in the film. Eminem was funny. Eminem was fine. He played his role.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not trying to put it up for a Golden Globe or whatever.
No.
I'm just saying, by the time we got to it, all I'd read on the internet was, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
Right.
And I was like,
that's not true.
It was fun. It was, I don't know what you wanted. If you're mad at Adam Sandler for making this film, I don't know what you wanted or what you expected. It's goofier than, it's like the whole golf stuff at the end with the weird.
That was too much for me.
It's all, like, obviously stupid, but like the whole premise is, everything about it's stupid. I'm just saying, I didn't mind watching it. I didn't feel like I wasted my time, or they damaged the brand,
right?
Or they ruined the original. It was what it was. I think if you're mad about Happy Gilmore 2, it probably says more about you than it says about Happy Gilmore 2.
I agree.
That's what I believe.
What's the best thing we've read?
So over at CBSSports.com, RJ Anderson has his latest MLB trade rumors posted on the homepage. Trade deadline in MLB later this week on Thursday specifically. So we don't know which big names are going to get moved, if any massive names will get moved, but it's always an interesting time leading up to that. And if you want the latest, you can find it from RJ Anderson right now, CBSSports.com.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow's Wednesday. That means Chris Vernon. Big Mouth will join me. So I talked to Chris Vernon. We'll talk all things Grizzlies. Probably ask him about Ja Morant's overseas trip that seems to be going incredibly well. Looking forward to it. Should be fun. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to enjoy mine. And we're going to meet back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.